Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew IRUMBA Katusabe.
Quickly roundup here with Comrade LESAFFRE Thomas. LESAFFRE Thomas is a journalist and a researcher. My name is Andrew IRUMBA Katusabe, your speaker. This is the weekly roundup that we do every Monday here, and with, of course, our partner sponsors, the NBS Television and other comrades. We are now looking this week at, there's been a row between Trump and South Africa. Comrade LESAFFRE, you have been in South Africa last week.
Correct.
Now, this is what's happening. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has moved to defuse a row with the new US administration over a new land law by speaking to Elon Musk. Mr. Musk is a close advisor to US President Donald Trump, threatened to cut all future funding South Africa over allegations that it was confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. The South Africa-born tech billionaire joined in the criticism, asking on X why Ramaphosa had opened racist ownership around land laws. Ramaphosa's office said that in the call to Mr. Musk, the president reiterated South Africa's constitutionally embedded values of the respect for the rule of law, justice, fairness, and equality. Last month, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed into law a bill that allows land seizures without compensation in certain circumstances. Land ownership has long been a contentious issue in South Africa, with most private farmland owned by the white people, 30 years after the end of the racist system of apartheid. There have been continuous calls for the government to address land reform and deal with the past injustices of racial segregation. In his initial response to Trump, the South Africa's president said that his government has not confiscated any land. Trump wrote on his social media platform saying, "I will be cutting off all future funding South Africa until a full investigation of this situation has been completed." South Africa's new law allows for expropriation without compensation only in circumstances where it is just and equitable and in the public interest to do so. This includes if the property is not being used and there is no intention to either develop or make money from it, or when it poses a risk to people. Land ownership has been a burning issue in South Africa for more than a century. In 1913, the British colonial authorities passed legislation that restricted the property rights of the country's black majority. The Natives Land Act left the vast majority of the land under the control of the white minority,
86%,
and set the foundation for the forced removal of black people to poor homelands and townships in the intervening decades until the end of apartheid 3 decades ago. Anger over these forced removals intensified the fight against white minority rule. In 1994, leader of the African National Congress, ANC, Nelson Mandela, became the country's first democratically elected president after all South Africans were given the right to vote. But until the recently passed law, the government was only able to buy land from its current owners under the principle of willing seller, willing buyer, which some feel has delayed the process of land reform. In 2017, a government report said that of the farmland that was in the hands of private individuals, 72% was white-owned. According to 2022 census, while people make up 7.3% of the population. However, some critics have expressed fears that the new land law may have disastrous consequences, like in Zimbabwe, where seizures wrecked the economy and scared away investors. Comrade LESAFFRE.
yes.
The white people make 7.3% of the total population of South Africa. But the white people own 80% of the land.
Yes.
The white people got this land in 1913 by chasing away the owners, the black people.
Correct.
Through the British colonialists.
And the Afrikaners, eh?
Now, tell me something. The British colonists came 1930 and chased away people, black people, from their lands.
Yes.
They helped the white people acquire that land illegally.
Yes.
Today, we are saying, give us back our land. Trump is saying, you are wrong. The white people are correct. Let's correct this mistake from the beginning. Who owned this land from the word go? To whom does this land belong?
Correct.
So when Trump says, I'm going to cut the aid because you're going to take back your land, some people are just nonsensical.
It is.
Some people are just nonsensical.
ridiculous.
You have 7.3% of the total population, and
Yes.
you are white people
Yes.
in South Africa,
Yes.
an African land.
Yes.
Me, the African said, from whom you stole that land,
Yes.
I'm coming back to take it. You are saying you must pay me. Whom did you pay when you are taking it? This is no sense.
No sense.
Go away. You continue.
One word. 400 years of colonialism. 400 years of colonialism. That's what South African experienced. Here in Uganda, we've experienced 80 years. In Chad, they've experienced 70 years. In Senegal, 120, 140. In South Africa, 400 years. During those 400 years, it's only at the late period that they start to propel and push black people outside of their land so they can control them. Because remember, they wanted black people outside of the land, but they wanted still to make them work for them. So if blacks have still worked in those farms that we're speaking about, it has been black labor force. The white are just the owners of the land. They're just taking the papers, they're taking the money that come out. But the workers are still black. So they kick out black people off their land so they can now re-employ them and pay them shit salary because those guys have nothing anymore. By law, right? When the ANC came in power, they negotiated and they said, no, private property is private property. So nothing can take it, right? So if someone don't want to sell, the government cannot buy. So South Africa said yes. Freedom fighters say yes. Let's go like this. So white farmers will sell and then the government will buy and give it to black farmers, right? Now people are waiting since 30 years and South Africans white are still owning 80% of the land. So now they have asked Ramaphosa, do something. The ANC, they said, no, we have to move further, right? So Ramaphosa said, we can expropriate land for public reasons, not for private reasons. And what is the public reasons? It is really clear. They can expropriate only for one reason. If and only if the land is not being used. If and only if the land is not making money for someone.
And if
If and only if it's not serving any purpose outside of speculation. Because now they can see that some farmers, they keep lands and they buy lands, but they don't do anything on it. So their own farms get more value, right? Because the less you have property available to sell, the more they are expensive. It's classic capitalist laws, right? So now what's happening is clear. So Donald Trump is saying that no, those are the white people that are being the target of the black government. Where the black government have always treated white people really fairly. Really fairly. Did the white government treat black people fairly back in the day? No. But then the black government treat white people fairly. No white people were threatened, right? But they came with a paranoia. They got paranoid, those white people. And that's apartheid poisoning their mind. Apartheid said, black people want to kill you. So even after 30 years, that black people don't kill them. They come and they invent narrative. They invent stories. White genocide. They pretend that white farmers are being attacked by black South Africans in order to kill them. And who believe that? Does any South African believe that? Yeah, the white South African a little bit, they believe that. But mainly white people from outside. And the white racists of America saw that. And that remind them of their own fear, of their own paranoia, of their own traumatizing problem racial experience, right? The two societies are really close. The difference is that South Africa is a black majority country with a white minority. America is a white majority country with a black minority. But the two stories are really similar. They look at each other. So the white racists have been claiming that Mugabe destroyed Zimbabwe. And then
by
the
taking
ANC,
land back to the owner.
Exactly. And then Mandela destroyed South Africa by just being a black leader, right? So now when Trump arrived in power, he had all those racists. And remember, the racists, they like Trump a lot.
Hey,
The racists like Trump a lot. That's something we should not forget. Racists,
are Trump's
Americans
friends.
are really close friends to Trump. So then they start to whisper, oh, look, South Africa is doing this, South Africa is doing that. But remember, Trump has been president since in 2018, right? In 2018, what did he say? He said there is a white genocide in South Africa and that he will cut all subventions, all subsidies and everything until the government address the white genocide, right? Were there any white genocide? There were none. There were just white paranoia that came from the poisoning of apartheid regime. So there were no white genocide. Now, he's not coming with white genocide. No, he said, Ramaphosa is passing a law that is really bad. Okay, good. What are you going to do? Because last time you did nothing for a white genocide. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now?
Cutting aid.
He said he's cutting aid, but do you think South Africa have waited for America to develop like vaccine and system against HIV? We're speaking of the country in the world the most impacted by HIV. The most impacted by HIV. If I'm remembering well, 29% or 27% of the population has it. So South Africa has taken its own destiny long time ago. South African funding on HIV that comes from America is only 17%. Only 17% of all the money that South Africa spent in order for its population to stay HIV free is coming from the US. So South Africa is going to continue. South Africa is leading. It's not at the back when it comes to HIV, like medicines and hospitals. They are doing things perfect, really, really good. So now Donald Trump thinking he can cut. Yes, you can cut. But I was in Johannesburg last week.
Yeah, you're in South Africa.
I was in Johannesburg last week. You know, one of the things that stressed me the most about Joburg there? Every cars. Every new brand cars. Every new cars. And South African like their new cars. South African like cars. Every cars is Chinese.
Chinese cars.
I'm looking at brand I never seen in IRUMBA. Running the street. Beautiful. This one look like a Range Rover. But it's Daewoo. This one will look like a Toyota Hilux. But it's GWC or GMC. I don't even remember. I'm asking my friends, what has happened here? He said, no, listen. The Chinese came with their car. Half price. The exact car. The exact same car. The Range Rover, the Toyota Hilux, all those big cars. The SUVs that people like to drive.
They have come with them, but at half price.
Half price, new brand. That's it. Done. Everyone is buying cars, Chinese car now. So the era we are witnessing, Donald Trump can
They're
talk.
not buying their own brothers' cars. Elon Musk, Tesla.
His Tesla is Elon Musk, a brother of South Africa. I don't know, but he's definitely born there, though. So yeah, maybe he's some sort of a brother. But Tesla is really expensive. Chinese cars are really cheap, right? So Chinese came once again and broke a market entirely, making people realize that they were overpaying their BMW and their Ford and all of that. Why were they overpaying? Because a small clique of Americans were taking that money. So now you have a situation where it is China that is leading the market of new buying cars. Recently, we've seen what? China made a new app that is very similar to ChatGPT. It cost 6 million, but ChatGPT was spending billions to get his AI model, and the Chinese are doing it cheaper. Now the Chinese are doing cars cheaper. The same way they used to do clothes cheaper. The same way they did smartphones that were cheaper. Now it's in the cars, right? So coming back to Donald Trump, what is happening? Donald Trump is not speaking to Africans. Donald Trump don't care about Africa. I've been saying that a long time ago. He's speaking to who? He's speaking to his racist followers. And he's speaking to the racist followers saying, listen, I know you guys are stressed because South Africa is doing those law and new propaganda is saying that they're going to expel them. But it's false. It's false. South Africa is not about to turn, and it won't be the ANC that will overturn an ANC policy. That will not happen. That will not happen. But Donald Trump is speaking to who? To his own supporters. He doesn't speak to you and I. He doesn't care about you and I. As a matter of fact, he believes that we are even smaller than one single African. All Africa is weaker than American state, according to him. Even one like Arizona for him is bigger than Africa on its own. Donald Trump is speaking to his racist followers. And so they have liked to look at Southern Africa as the evidence of the fact that white power can function. That's what they've been looking at. That's what they like Rhodesia. That's what they like apartheid South Africa. They use the flag that side. They're proud because they think that part of history shows that when white people govern for themselves with racist law, it works. It never worked, Irumba. It never worked. It was a mess. It was a mess. South Africa, multiracial South Africa, white and blacks working together, blacks and blacks working together, is much more efficient than the apartheid regime or the Rhodesian regime. But they like to lie. And they write a lot, those people online, right? So Donald Trump knows that his followers read this. So he's going to say it. So he does American politics. When Donald Trump speaks of South Africa, he does American politics, not African politics, not South African politics. And Ramaphosa's answers was really clear. We are going to explain to you why is this law necessary for our country, and we hope to have a fruitful dialogue.
Actually, let me tell you, Comrade LESAFFRE.
Yes.
All the leaders of South Africa from the 1994, Nelson Mandela was senior.
Yes.
They have taken long to correct that mistake.
Yes.
Africans in South Africa would have gotten back their land long ago, not today.
Yes.
Long ago. You got my land in 1913 by force from me because you were in power.
Yeah.
Now I have got the power. And they come to take it away. You are saying you are being a racist. What were you? When you are taking that land from me because I'm black and you are white, what were you? So today I'm getting back what rightfully belongs to me.
Yes.
You are saying we must sit and negotiate. Whom did you negotiate with?
Yeah. Negotiate with no
Whom
one.
did you negotiate
They
with?
killed them. They came with
They killed.
bulldozer.
For us, we are even decent that we are talking to you.
Decent.
We are speaking to you. We are even passing a law. We are going to Parliament to discuss. Use the legal means. For you came and killed and took away.
Yeah.
Now, I think Trump has a problem. Trump now is like some people working on rumors on social media. Trump hears something on social media, he writes a tweet. I am cutting aid.
But if
He has done the same. He has done the same in Uganda. The first thing he came in power, cutting aid. He thinks people must bow down before you because you give them some sort of aid, not realizing what is correct. So for him, it's not important whether you're correct or no. In South Africa, for as long as you want to take back your land,
yes,
you are wrong, he will cut aid. But he should ask himself, is he correct? Were his ancestors correct to take that land by force? The answer is no. Am I correct to take back what belongs to me? The answer is yes.
Clearly correct.
Moreover, I am being decent that I'm even discussing with you.
Yeah.
So it means...
But they don't even taking it back because it's only if the land is
and
not
they're
used.
saying, and they're saying that we are only going to take it away, one, if it is dormant land. It's not doing any business.
No, in a minute. So if there's a white farmer
We are going
farming,
to take it in the interest
they
of
don't
government.
yeah,
But remember that time
not even government, the people.
The people.
The people.
That time you could have taken somebody's private land.
Yes.
Right now, when it's coming back, it's not coming back to that person. It's going back to the government. So it means that person, that individual who owned that land,
yes,
he has forever
correct.
lost that right.
He has lost the right.
So when Trump is addressing these matters in Africa, I don't think that he should start, discussing things casually on Twitter, X, with his friend Elon Musk. There must be some logic. I believe that Trump would have been the last person to give a comment on this land issue. First, listen to both sides. What is the argument?
But when have you seen Donald Trump doing that?
So does Trump know the origin of land ownership in South Africa by the white people?
Oh, of course.
If you address yourself to how, listen to this, is important, my brother. If Trump wanted to take interest in resolving this matter equitably, not by using this force of I'm cutting aid. No, if you want to be equitable, you want to be just, he would have first asked himself, how did 7.3% in South Africa, white people, own this land? Did they buy it? If he finds out that they bought it, now blacks want to acquire it by force again. You have paid me money to take my land. I'm coming back and saying, please bring back that land without considering the money you paid. That is something different. Has Trump found out that these whites bought to this land in 1913? They came, conquered, killed, and took over. We are coming back after gathering energy from 1913 to 2023. How many years are those now?
But it's been 80 years in 1994.
We are gathering energy now that we can speak.
110 years.
After 100 years
Yes.
of you using my land illegally and even making me a shamba boy in my own land.
In your own land.
I am coming back and saying, please, I'm not even taking the whole of it. I want to take that which you are not using.
Yeah,
Because they're not taking all of
No,
it.
they're not even at all.
Even that one that you built
all.
your house on,
That
you
law-
stole it. But
that
I'm
law is
saying
too
it's
weak.
okay, my brother.
A lot of people say that law is too weak already. In South Africa, they said it's not going to change anything.
South Africa, Ramaphosa should, yesterday, not even today, they should claim all that land. Yes.
But they
If
remember, let me
you
ask
are a
you a
white
question.
man
Yes.
in South Africa,
Yes.
this is what Ramaphosa should ask. Give me the sales agreement of this land that you have and the land title.
No,
Show me who sold to you this land.
it's no one.
If you don't have anybody who sold to that land, this South Africa had people that stayed there. Those people have come back. Their great-great-grandchildren are now grown up. They want land. So, to be fair, if you have 10 acres, we will give you an acre.
Yes.
Hand over 9 acres to the children
Yes.
of the owner of that land.
Yes.
So Trump is saying, I'm cutting aid. Cut it.
Get it.
Cut it.
Get it, because as I said, there is no impact. But remember, you should remember one thing. How did Donald Trump got land? Let me raise the question. How did Donald Trump's ancestor got the land that made Donald Trump rich? If it's not themselves, by stealing it from the real Americans that were not white people, right? So it is clear that the land that of what we call today America, which is not even the right name, because it's the name of the guy that, the European guys that
America
came
is
first.
the name of a guy.
Yeah, it's the name of Americanus. He came there and he named it America. But there were people living there, right? There were Apache.
Red Indians.
Yeah, Apache, Red Indians, Apache. They had names, right? I prefer
They
to call
came
them,
and conquered and
because
killed.
even Red Indian is a colonial name. They didn't call themselves Indian. It's because Christopher Columbus was lost and he thought he arrived in India. So he called them Indian.
Hey.
But he was supposed to, India is the other side. But him, he
Yeah.
was going to India. He arrived in the Caribbean, in the Americas.
He thought they had arrived in India.
So he said, oh, those are Indian people. Then now we call them Indian people. They're not Red Indians. But yeah, you see what I mean. The Apache, the Red Sox, like those were the people of
The natives.
the native people of America. So if Donald Trump would actually recognize that South African land was taken and stolen
away
from the people
from the
to be
natives.
given to foreigners. To foreigners, remember he hate foreigners. He would have to recognize that the land of white American of today is coming from the same process. The land of white Americans of today
actually,
have been
let us-
stolen from
Now,
the people.
Let's do like this.
From the people.
Let's do like this. There is a camera. Let's do like this. Trump is leading an operation in America,
Yes.
chasing non-Americans from America.
Yes.
Ramaphosa should do the same in South Africa. If you're not a South African, leave. Go. As Africans are leaving America, coming back to Africa, white people should be leaving South Africa, going back to America. So the planes should be bypassing each other. The planes,
That's
the
your
plane
friend.
coming from America, bringing Africans on the African land, and another plane coming from South Africa, taking white people back to their
But
ancestral home.
white people of South Africa, if
Because-
they play with the law,
No,
they have the
listen,
right
listen.
to stay.
Why does Trump think that it is incorrect for an African to live in America without legal papers, but it is okay for a white man to come to South Africa, conquer, kill, and even hold on to 100 acres of land, and when we say please give back the land, you threaten to cut aid. You must be fair. That's like
there's no
like
fairness.
Trump feels that non-Americans in America
Yes.
take away the opportunities of the citizens. The same thing applies to the rest of the world. South Africa inclusive.
But you should not forget that white people of America arrived as foreigners. They were foreigners. The same way white people of South Africa were foreigners, white Americans are foreigners. They all come from where I come from, France. Okay? We stay there. Where that's the land of white people. Okay? Now they came in different places of the world. They came to Brazil, they came to the US, they came to South Africa. All the time they dispossessed the people that were there. All the time they dispossessed the people that were there. The only difference is that in South Africa they dispossessed them by law in 1913. In the US they dispossessed them by killing them in 17th or 18th century. Right? So colonialism is the same process. If you look at how Israel got his land, how does Israel got his land? It's the same process. They stole the land. Colonialism always comes steal your land and make you work for you. Right? Make you work for you. So Donald Trump has a foreign wife. Himself, he has origin as a foreigners. And who is he targeting? The foreigners. He's expelling like Venezuelans, he's expelling Mexicans, he's expelling foreigners. He said like foreigners are the problem. But he himself is a foreigner. His own wife is a foreigner. So how do you understand the logic of such a man? The logic of such a man is to don't look at reality. Is to speak to his voters. Now remember what I've told you before in this show. Americans are not educated. Education in the US is extremely expensive. So the majority of Americans don't have access to education. And because they don't have access to education, they are easily confused.
Yeah.
They are easily confused.
Mindset.
And so the enemies of America have noticed that, especially the Russians, and they have created a lot of like account on social media.
Americans are not educated.
They're not educated.
We fear them here so much. When you see an American, you think understanding began with him.
But even Americans in Uganda are uneducated. Even the Americans you find in Uganda are uneducated. Americans all around the world are uneducated. Americans, like a semester is $40,000 in America. 1 semesters. If you have to do 5 years or 6 years, we're speaking of how much? You have to have stole so much money in your life to be able to educate someone in America, unless you have a bursary. And if you have a bursary, it's because America wants you to work for America. The CEO of Google, is he American white? No. It's an Indian guy. The CEO of Google is an Indian guy. The CEO of most of those like big techs are Indian people. Like literally from India, not the fake Indians that they call Indians in America. The real Indians. Why? Because like literally like Americans want the best brain to come to work for them, and Americans don't have access to education. So it's a system. It's a system. And Donald Trump speaks directly to his voters. He doesn't care about anything else.
Uneducated
to his voters. The more uneducated they are, the better it is for him, because the more he can say his narrative. And if you focus on the narrative of Donald Trump as we did today, look exactly at South Africa. What is happening? The government is doing nothing wrong against white people, but yet Donald Trump is speaking about it. But did Donald Trump have any policy on South Africa before? Yes. He called it a white genocide. Were there a white genocide before? And now if there were a white genocide before, why do they expropriate illegally now? Doesn't make sense. What makes sense is the message is passed his voters. He tells his voters, look, I'm defending white power everywhere around the world. I'm defending white power when it's being threatened. I'm defending what he thinks is white power. And the truth is, it's true. South Africa still has a lot of strong white powers. But he's trying to say, I'm defending white power wherever. So the white man that isn't educated...
Whether they are wrong or right, he's defending.
Because the white man that isn't educated is being challenged by a Mexican that is educated, by a French that is educated, by a Chinese that is educated, by Ugandan that are educated. So all of those people come to America and become more relevant than the American himself. So in order to speak to that American that isn't educated and feel threatened, because a lot of educated people come and take jobs, he speaks to him. He wants to manipulate him. And this guy vote for Trump. Those are the people that vote for Trump. So the people that vote for Trump are those that have been...
Uneducated.
Uneducated. And not get me wrong, I'm unhappy about that. Extremely unhappy. I would love Americans to receive the same education as people receive in Uganda or in Russia or in China. But that's not the case. It is money in the US. You don't have money, you don't have education. Yet you can be smart and be born with no money. But that capitalists don't care. That capitalists don't care. They give you a bursary and then now you have to act for them. That's the only way it works. Donald Trump...
I thought education was free in America, my friend.
Yeah, of course it's not free in America. Nothing is free in America, my friend. Only the missile. The only thing free in America is the missile they send in Palestine. The only thing free in America is all the weapons that they give you so you can attack their enemies. That's the only thing free in America. Education is extremely expensive. Americans have only one goal: making money. Forget about being religious, forget about their family, forget about... They only want to make money. If you look at the top 10 richest American and how they made their money. It's a shame, Irumba. It's a shame. One man, he sold his own family. Like literally, he sold his own family. His family are share. Dropping. White people of America are being more and more uneducated. They are more and more uneducated. Well,
Go ahead.
so America is dropping. Its influence in the world is dropping. As I explained my example about South Africa. South Africa used to have French cars, Italian cars, American cars. Now they're buying what? And German cars. Now they're buying Chinese cars, right? The America is losing its grip towards the world, right? And the white people of America, they have also lose their grip against like capitalism because now they have no say anymore. It's just like some few people that have a say. In that drop of power comes a monster like Trump that is coming to tell you that actually he can make America great again. He can make it as it used to be. But it was never like this for most of the people. But he will pretend. He will pretend. And the thing is, us humans, and that's for all of us, all societies, all civilizations, we like good stories. We like good stories. Sometimes we like good stories more than the facts. Let's say we are speaking of Thomas Sankara, right? Right here is Thomas Sankara.
Yeah, sure.
The good story about Thomas Sankara is that he got killed by who? His best friends. We like good stories. Now, if Thomas Sankara was being killed by a random guy in the street, maybe it would be like, no, it was his best friends trying to kill him, right? What I'm trying to say is that us as humans, we like good narrative. We like narratives. So that's what Donald Trump sells. Donald Trump gives you a good narrative, a full-packed narrative. Ah, look, South Africans are giving back the land from white people to black people. They're expropriating them. That's a simple narrative. If you look at the evidence, as you said, if you look at 1913 Land Act, it doesn't happen, right? It does not happen. So Donald Trump come with good narratives. He push them. And then us, we are here commenting, saying, is he crazy? Is he mad? Is he what? Is he what?
See, you see how he has put Ramaphosa in a corner to the extent of now starting begging to speak to Elon Musk so that Elon Musk can talk to the big man Trump, not to stop the aid. That nonsense should also stop. Ramaphosa should stand on his feet and say, sir, in 1913, these brothers of ours, whom you are saying now we are mistreating, actually for them they came and killed us. Killed us, maimed us, and took over this land. They did not buy from anybody.
They didn't.
We are decent enough that after 100 years, we are simply asking them in 100 years to refund what they have not used. Land that is vacant, let our people utilize it. Land that they are already using for now, we have no interest in it. But also, remember, it's not your land. You took it by force. You stole it. But for now, you have your home there, your country home. You have your building. You have your supermarket. We don't want to touch it. Huh? You have your commercial building. We don't want to touch it. Right now, we are looking at these so many. South Africa has 63 million people, population. 63. So if you have 7.3% of that population in the hands of 98% of the land, it means the biggest population is landless.
Yeah.
And Trump is not akin to the fact that these people are landless, not because they were born landless. It is because a white man came, killed them, conquered them, and took the land. Today, after 100 years, I am saying, please give us, from what you looted, give us some so that we can also survive. Trump is saying, don't touch them. If you touch them, no, what you are now practicing white, they have called, he has called it white what?
White racism.
White racism.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he talk about apartheid?
It doesn't.
That happened.
Because it happened in the US too, and those people
He
loved
doesn't
it.
talk about it. So I think that also these African leaders, now like here right now, you see what Trump is trying to boil down South Africa. After cowing down South Africa, tomorrow he'll come to Uganda. The other day he'll go to Zimbabwe. The one Zimbabwe they are talking about right now, when Mugabe stood to his gun and took back land to the owners, Zimbabwe is now starting to come up. It's coming up. And it has been in the ditch not because of Zimbabwe's inactiveness. No, because America put sanctions on it
And the UK.
and UK. If they had left them to do what they're supposed to do as a country, Zimbabwe wouldn't be where it is. They are where they are, courtesy of the same people.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
But
And-
now, when they are giving example, don't you see what Zimbabwe did? Don't you see where they are? No, they are there because you are the one who is actually doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
You are
And they
putting
used to love
sanctions-
Mugabe
Yeah.
when Mugabe was doing white
So,
politics.
if South Africa had done that, taken back the land in 1994, when Mandela came in, but here Mandela also came out of Robben Island out of an agreement. A white man made him sign that you are going to be the president, but please leave us with our land. And anybody who has the first production, the biggest factor of production, which is land, it means you will control the economy.
It's true.
And anybody who controls the economy controls the politics of the country.
The politics.
Politics. What is happening is the politics.
The term that democracy.
If you are rich, you are the one who is going to decide who is going to be the president,
That's the
who
problem.
is going to be the LOC1 chairman
the
in your
problem.
village, who is going to be the member of
That
parliament.
is the problem.
So if the white man, 7.3%, is the one in charge of the land, it means it is this 7.3% that are actually managing the politics of South Africa
Correct. That's
and the
totally
economy of
correct.
South Africa.
That's totally correct.
That's why sometimes you see, sometime back, I saw how Julius Malema
Yeah.
had started speaking in tongues when the LGBTQ agenda came. Why? Because I am told those are the people who fund the EFF.
No, they
So
won't.
without them, it means you'll have no
EFF.
EFF.
That's correct.
So that's why he was speaking in tongues. Yeah, he speaks like he doesn't have a tongue.
But Julius Malema is really not happy about this law. Eh?
Of-
The majority of South Africans know that this law is impossible to implement to its fullest. What does it mean? You are white. You have your land from 1913, right? You're not using this land. You are in Johannesburg living in a fancy hotel, what, because you actually don't even need that land, right? Because you have skills, you have capital, you have buy property at the right time in history, so now you are rich. What is happening at the moment where they do that? Ramaphosa will say, oh, let me take your land because it's not of public use. And the guy will say, no, I have a shop here. And then now you will see a Ugandan selling cassava or matoke just in that land. One cassava, one matoke, one guy. And then he can't touch the land anymore. So this law is already really problematic. In South African debate, people say this law is useless. This law is never going to be implemented.
No,
It's
but
just
it's a
make up
good
law.
thing to start up, my brother. It's a good thing to start up with that. Let the law pass.
No, the law is passed.
Let it pass. The implementation can take time, but at least whenever such a thing happens, like taking over land, there is somewhere you can base from. So yes, the white minority is going to fight the law, but let them fight it when it is there. Yes. Because for the last 100 years, you've not been having it. So you've not been having any defense. Now you have a defense.
No, it's clear.
Yeah. So it's very correct. It's very important. First have it in place.
But you
Then
need
we
to,
fight for its implementation. You cannot fight what you don't have.
you need to also remember that colonialism, it colonized the land, but you also colonized the
mind.
mindset. Right? And we remember
So
that.
you could even find right now, the
Yeah.
people, the blacks who are saying this law is not going to work. You might find that it's the white man influencing them with money.
You have that, but not only that. Now when you ask South African, they don't know about land. Their parents didn't know how to farm. They don't know how to farm. Their grandparents didn't know how to farm. This is 3 generations of South African that do not know how to farm because they've been taken into the apartheid and colonialism. So they were farming for white people. But they don't know how to farm anymore because the majority of them moved to the cities, to the so-called township, right? And so in the township, people don't know how to farm. What they know how to do is to do small jobs for
Trade.
the white men. They know how to do small labor jobs, cut the grass, clean the house or things like this. They have no skill. And they don't have the skill of the land. When I came to Uganda, I was so stressed. When I saw all those young people like knowing how to farm, I asked myself, I went to the West, I saw a lot of farmers were young. I thought, that's different, right? Every single piece of land in Uganda is farmed. And if it's not farmed, someone is thinking of farming it right now. A lot of people know how to farm because they have had their lands forever, since ever. Now in South Africa, people haven't had their land since a long time. They don't know how to farm anymore. And when you ask them, what do you want? Do you think they want to go back to the farm and to the land and farm? No, they want to live in Sandton. They want to live in the nice building, and they want to be on Netflix and TikTok. And that's okay. I'm not here to judge. But the consequences of colonialism of the mind have also made this job of being a farmer a bad job. When in Uganda, when you can feed your own family, you are respected. You are respected. If you have land and you feed your family with that land, you are respected. In South Africa, you are respected if you make money, you feed your family, but not if you farm. If you farm for your family, the respect is not coming. People will tell you, but you can do better. But why do you do this? Why do you do that? So the colonization of the mind also play a role.
When you are farming, they think you.
And now the reality is the people of South Africa, neither the white, neither the black, want to be farmers. They want to work for tech. They want to work for this and that, but they don't want to be farmers anymore. So even when you ask the radicals, they say, even if we take back the land, we know that the white are going to attack us because they will say we're not using it. Because this generation, finding farmers is difficult, right? It will take time to reacquaint people to you farm, you produce food, you're feeding your own family, that's your pride. Like it is in Uganda, like it always have been in a lot of places in the world. But now that they have been dispossessed from that, what look like success is to do like what the white people are doing. Working jobs that no one really understands, that have no consequences for the country, but yet they make a lot of money and now they employ black people in their house. That's what they want.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trump is threatening South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa because there is a law that now says we will take back our land without compensation. Isn't that what it means?
We only when the land is not used and only when there is speculation. So speculation is quite key here, because what you see is that white people organize themselves so they don't sell the land, and now the land that is remain is expensive. It's called speculation. You can do the same in any places around the world, right? So Ramaphosa, I've noticed that that's also how a lot of people getting their land for free back in the days now make money out of their land. So he says that must end now. That must end now. But the left in South Africa knows that these are no reparations. Those are no reparations from the land grab that has happened. Those are no reparations from the 400 years. And until South Africa accept to heal from the trauma of colonialism by bringing real solutions, until that moment happened, it will continue to fail. And the truth is, black South Africans are as poor now as they were at the time of apartheid, because they don't have the land back, because the skills to get skills is really expensive, and because transformation of society happened, but really slowly, right? So there's a lot of blacks that are part of the middle class. More blacks are part of the middle class than whites are part of the middle class. The current government have done more for black people than any government before, but yet it is still not enough. It is still not enough. And the radicals are saying that until we give back the land of people, there won't be any solutions. And I'm adding to that you need to give people land, and you need to give them training and state support, because the Afrikaners that got the land got state support. They didn't just farm themselves. They got the state to keep black people out. They got the state to make sure that black workers has a pass so they can go and walk to the farm, but nowhere else. The state organized the success of the white community under apartheid, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see the state pushing black ownership of the land, black success, and black agro-business success.
Ah, very good. Maybe as we wind up, if you could tell me, you've been in South Africa.
Yes.
What is the mood of the population on this law? What's the mood? What are you hearing from the population? Are they happy with the idea? Are there mixed reactions? What's the mood there?
So South Africa is under the GNU, Government of National Unity. So they have invited all political parties to join the government, so they govern together at that time of particular crisis, especially because they had load shedding and electricity crisis for a long time. So when you speak to the people, they're happy that the country is doing better. They're happy that
No,
the
I want
electricity is here.
the specific
No, but
land.
the land issue questions come like this. It comes because the country is doing better right now. So now people look at this and say, is it going to help? What is going to help here? Is it going to help black farmers? Not really. Such a law will not help black farmers. Black farmers, they need state support in terms of machinery. Those that already have land are not going to be helped. So there will be those that would acquire the land. But they know, like you can't trust the government that have passed 30 years not giving back the land to black people to suddenly overturn its policy and give back the land to black people. So in South Africa, to shorten the point, in South Africa, the majority of people are in favor of redistribution of the land, but are not thinking that this law is going to redistribute the land. They think that this is still one more law because it's in negotiation with the whites. You don't want to scare the white by saying we're going to size your property. So they come with law like this. But at the end of the day, nothing is going to change. So the radical are not happy because the law is not going to change the situations of the majority of black South Africans. And the majority of black South Africans don't believe that this law is a game changer. It's only because Trump have now spoke about it that we speak about it ourselves. But the majority of South African media, South African thinks that it's a compromise, the same way 1994 was a compromise, and that is not going to lead to more exploitation of the land because there is law already in place. If your ancestors are dead and their tombs are inside the white land, then you can go to a judge and say, this was our land of my family, I want to give it back. And it works. It works.
Yeah.
But what people are not dumb. They remove the tombs. They remove the evidence. And they didn't let black people die on their old land. So there's only a minority of people that can apply this law. But the majority of people don't think it's going to be a game changer, no. It's only Donald Trump because he wants to speak to his followers, racist followers in the US that think that. But the truth is it's not going to be no game changer. You would have heard about it long time ago if it was a real game changer. Won't be.
How do you also comment about Trump's recent decision, the executive order signed stopping cutting aid from the entire Africa, including Uganda. Ugandan AIDS patients now here have started crying.
Yeah.
Because they called them the other day and gave them the last drips of their medical aid but in my own thinking, LESAFFRE, I think that we've been taken for so long for granted, and we have also gotten used.
Yeah.
You don't pay America your taxes as a Ugandan, as an African.
Yeah.
You pay your country taxes.
Yeah.
America cuts its aid from Uganda. And you hear people talking as if they have lost hope, as if all is lost. This kind of dependency.
It's dependency.
On one side, you want to depend on somebody.
Yes.
On the other side, you are saying this person is bad.
Yes.
Choose one. For me, I'm very happy with what Trump has done, cutting aid for Africa.
And for the rest of the
then,
world.
they will wake up.
Yeah.
That is the time when they are going to join the Sahel region.
Yeah.
The likes of Captain Traore and Mali and Niger. How they will start realizing that if we no longer receive aid from America, but America is stealing our resources, it's time now we come together and protect our resources to benefit our own people. I don't think Traore can ever be bothered that America has cut aid from Traore.
I don't.
No, he's not.
Why?
So. Because he has concentrated on homegrown solutions. Homegrown solutions. He doesn't want anybody to say, I am going to give you this aid, but please leave the white people with their land in Burkina Faso. So when Traore hears this nonsense in South Africa, and he listens to the comments of Trump, saying, if you remove land from my white brothers, I'm cutting aid, if you are seated near Traore, you could see him just getting annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like the entire Africa to stop getting aid from anybody outside Africa. Then you'll gather the energy
Yeah.
to protect your own
Yeah.
like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And then you'll begin to create solutions
Yeah.
for your own problems.
That's correct. That's correct. I think we cannot in this channel ask for a sovereign Africa and then cry when Donald Trump cut the head. It's not possible. We've been saying that America's influence in Africa is wrong. We've been saying that American influence in Africa do not help the continent to grow, but maintain the continent independency. So now seeing America cutting the ties, we should all be happy.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that we depend on a man or a power that do know how to protect his own power. He doesn't want to share it. So it is not true that because we have aid programs or things like this, it comes with other things. It comes with injunctions. We know that America wants you to vote like this at the UN against Russia or against China.
A country like America cannot give you hundreds of billions of dollars
No country.
for nothing.
No country.
There must be something you are giving back. Either they are pushing LGBT into your country and you must allow it, or you're going to continue like in South Africa,
Or selling.
putting your head down that it's okay 7.3% to remain in control of the land. Because if you say we are taking it away, they also say we are withdrawing our aid. So you must choose one thing. You can't eat your cake and have it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, definitely. However, we're saying that, but we also have to say that there is a lot of people that lose their job because America was funding their jobs. There is a lot of people that won't have access to some medicals. But we should not be blaming Trump for that. We should be blaming the fact that the medicals that make you alive are made in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And South Africa have refused that. You know, South Africa has HIV treatment, right? HIV treatment was extremely expensive. You have to pay license if you want to build a factory of HIV treatment pills in South Africa. You know what the South African government did? He built the factory himself. He didn't ask for permission. Those guys sue him. And they said, no, look at the price you're selling your pills to our people. If we continue like this, we're all going to die. So we don't ask. We don't ask to produce the pills that are going to save our people, right? That's the situation we should be in. Africa should have a majority of the resources, minerals and vegetables and all of that are here. All of those things are here. We should develop things for the people here before we trying. So we're not happy that some people are dying or some people are suffering because they don't have that. We're just saying that dependency to the America, it's a good thing it cuts. It's a good thing it cuts. It has to cut at some point. And then, as you said, people gather their own destiny. But like Africa will understand that all of those small countries are now playing against each other rather than playing together.
Yeah.
And maybe they will start playing together because the critique come from divide and rule.
Yeah.
You divide and you rule. And that's what they've been doing also with those politics.
Yeah. Finally, I wanted to talk about Comrade LESAFFRE, the last one, 2 minutes. The fact that, and we said it here last time, you know what Trump has done to USAID? USAID.
Yeah.
That USAID has been doing something completely different and they cut the aid. Let me hear your 1 cent or two.
No, the USAID is 0.25% of American GDP. So it's nothing for them. It's nothing for them. But for a lot of countries, as we said, it is quite influential, especially in certain sectors. Like, for example, cancer in, I don't know, maybe Kenya or maybe Congo, you know. They finance certain centers that are helpful. Like, that's true. It's helpful. Like in Congo, you have some hospitals that have been financed by USAID and they have been useful to the populations. But yet, we have lived in the period where the world have USAID have functioned for a long time. Is the world getting better?
No.
Is Africa going stronger?
No.
Is the rest of the world going stronger? No. So we're in a situation where helping, which really means creating dependencies between people that are not equal, I'm helping you, so now you're dependent on the product I sell you. They give you like I don't know, $10 million for HIV pills. Great. Now we want the HIV pills. It's useful for our people. But in exchange, you bought this laptop, you bought this phone, and then they get your data in data centers in the US, and all of this is always a unfair dependency. Is building the dependency between two people that are not equal, right? And they say they are sovereign. Burkina Faso is sovereign. No, Burkina Faso is not equal to the US. Even if we love it, we would like it. It is not true. The US are much more powerful. They can impose a lot of things on Burkina. So when you have those ties that are created of dependencies, they're really hard to untangle. But as you said, we are building an Africa that should be self-reliant, because history have showed us that the only destiny for this continent is to be self-reliant and not to expect anything from any foreign power.
Thank you, Comrade LESAFFRE. On that note, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pan-African Weekly Roundtable with my comrade Thomas LESAFFRE.
Yes.
Thank you. Sign out.
Follow us on TikTok. Mutatina.
Don't agonize.
Organize.
Don't agonize.
Organize. Amandla.
Away too.
Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew IRUMBA Katusabe.